Hey YouTube, I'm Chase, this is Jennifer, and we're here for another Hunt Killer box update. This time around we are doing episode 2 of the Chestnut Falls Hunt Killer
Class of 98.
Class of 98 episodes. The second episode we showed you a little bit of an unboxing in one of our last videos.
Which we'll link to.
It was interesting because this time around took us a little bit longer than it would normally, or that we would have thought. So the first box, it only took us like an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours tops to kind of go through the information. This time around, it actually took us about 3 to 3.5 hours to go through it all. There's a lot of information. One of the things that I thought was kind of interesting here is when we got this box, I actually thought this was going to be kind of like the self-contained. Everything in this episode will contain all the information I need to kind of make my call on who's innocent or whatever. Turns out though that you actually have to use some of the information from episode 2 in this case and kind of corroborate it and cross-reference it with information from episode 1, which I didn't expect. And so I think that's on my part why I spent so much time looking at all the information, because I was like, what am I missing? Not realizing that I was missing looking back at episode 1 stuff. Like, I know that some of that stuff would come into play, like maybe the witness statements and stuff, but I wasn't quite sure to what degree.
So I think from my perspective, it feels like we have a lot of stuff at this point. We actually have 2 folders worth of witness statements now. We have the autopsy report. We've got 2 letters from Michelle Gray, which is the investigator that brings us in, and these letters contain passwords and folders. So a lot of the Hunt Killer stuff is on computer desktop files. So you have to be able to log into this Hunt Killer site to access the remote desktop, and then also refer to the papers. So you're jumping back and forth a lot, and so you have to save all these papers with all the passwords because all the different folders have different passwords. And then going through like all of these statements and referring back to the timeline, it was a lot. Like Chase said, we really had to go back, and we missed some things, I think, because we weren't going back to the first box to go through some of that stuff. And actually initially we got our box early, but I had actually forgot who we even eliminated the first time around. We had to go back into our recap thing to check like the recap of the episode with our password to see who had been eliminated, because I had forgotten that. This time I wrote it down, who we eliminated, but there's just so much like loose paper all over the place. There's the note, the yearbook, there's like 2 of these newspaper clippings. We have a whole bunch of photos, which I have on the cork board now.
Yeah, which is funny because you would think that a stack of photos would be easy to find in 2 boxes that are only this big.
We lost them twice.
Well, we lost them twice trying to look for them.
Yeah, and now we've got like some loose items, which I guess we could probably condense down into one bag now, and we even have this as well. So there's just a lot going on.
There is. And by the way, I just want to point out, these evidence bags, there's a problem. There's 2 problems with these bags. 1, these chain of custodies at the bottom are empty. You can't do that with evidence. And then 2, these numbers here at the top are the same number. What are we gonna do? These are all mixed up. Now I don't know which number is which. So I'm just kidding.
So just to give anyone a hint that we won't ruin anything, but definitely make sure you're checking the online stuff that's on that remote desktop, because we missed something on there and we went to eliminate a suspect and actually chose the wrong one this time. We had to make a second round of guesses. So we got it wrong, and we had to go back and kind of go to the drawing board again. And that's how we discovered we really maybe didn't put everything together the way that we should have. So it seems like box 1, like you said, was about an hour, hour and a half. This one was 3.5 hours. So I feel like it's getting harder with every box. So this is like maybe like leveling up. Box 3 is gonna be like, oh my gosh, 5 hours. I'm not really sure, because we're gonna have so many papers by that point. Like, I think you definitely need to have a way to organize everything, and maybe we haven't done a good job about that, and like maybe write it out better. I don't even know. Yeah, because it said at the beginning, it said that it's best if you have a designated area for this, or a desk or something. I completely agree. We have a corner in our room now that has the corkboard.
Yeah, because there's just so much stuff. Yeah.
So it's fun.
It's fun.
It's challenging. Fun. I mean, we will take turns just like reading the witness statements, and the other person listens and take notes. It's never boring. It's definitely fun. I still would recommend it. I am interested to see how hard this is gonna get though, because this one was, I think, significantly more difficult than the first one. My one recommendation is these are like monthly boxes, and for episode 2 I went ahead and said just ship it early because we want it. I cannot imagine waiting a full month in between these, because we had forgotten even a week and a half later. Like we got the box and didn't really have time to get into it too much. So we let a week and a half go by and I have forgotten so much. So
yeah.
I cannot imagine waiting a full month in between the boxes. Everything I would have would just be gone. Like I would have totally brain dumped it.
Yeah, I agree.
So I would recommend getting them on an expedited schedule unless you take really, really good notes because it's just too hard to remember it.
Yeah, I want to get a whiteboard so that I can like draw out like timelines because there's a time chart thing that you can fill out that's in like 10-minute increments.
And I will tell you that like we're having to write so tiny because there isn't very much space here and there's more than one thing that's got to go on those time slots.
Yeah, so I'm finding myself, I'm not overly super organized, but I find myself when doing this wanting to start organizing everything because it's starting to feel like there's a lot of stuff, but it's very fun. Like I don't want that to sound like a slam on or anything like that at all. It's so much fun. It's just, there's a lot of stuff.
Now we know.
Now we know.
We
Now
weren't really sure what to expect for the second box, and there's just a lot, and it didn't seem like there was a lot until you started going through it. Now we know. We're ready for box 3. I'm gonna go ahead and get it expedited because I don't want to forget anything because we already had trouble this time. And if you guys have tried this at home, we would love to hear your tips and tricks because it is fun. And
yes,
if you haven't tried it, then you should because
you should try it.
It's a good date night, I think.
I think so. I mean, it definitely takes a few hours, so I would recommend it. Give it. Don't tell us any don't tell us any answers. But if you have done any of these in the past, or if you know anything about it, or you have tips on organizing these kinds of projects or whatever, leave us a comment down below for a heads up, I guess.
Yeah.
Thanks.
For sure. So stay tuned so that you can see the unboxing of box 3. And until next time.
Until next time.
Stay magical.
Bye. Hey YouTube. I'm Jennifer. I'm sorry.